Good morning. I'm Dr. Bharat Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Pathology, Faculty of Homeopathic Science, Jyoti Vidyapit Women's University, Jaipur. Today's topic is oral soft tissues and its diseases. Normal structure. The oral cavity is the point of entry for digestive and respiratory tracts. The mucous membrane of the mouth consists of squamous epithelium covering vascularized connective tissue. The epithelium is keratinized over the hard palate, lips, and gingiva, while elsewhere it is non-keratinized. Mucous glands, minor salivary glands, are scattered throughout the oral mucosa. Sebaceous glands are present in the region of the lips and the buccal mucosa. Lymphoid tissues is present in the form of tonsils and adenoids. The oral cavity is the site of numerous congenital and acquired diseases. Besides, many systemic diseases have oral manifestations. Some of the commonly occurring conditions are discussed here. Developmental anomalies. First, facial cleft upper lip, hare lip, and cleft palate alone or in combinations are the commonest developmental anomalies of the face. These occur from the failure of fusion of facial process. Here is a diagram of both cleft lip and cleft palate. Leukodema. This is an asymptomatic condition occurring in the children and is characterized by symmetric gray-white area of the buccal mucosa. Histologically, there is a pronounced intracellular edema. There is no increased malignant potential compared to leukoplakia discussed below. Here is a picture of leukodema. You can easily see the whitish discoloration. Developmental defect of the tongue. Now we are going to discuss about developmental defects occurring in tongue. First, macroglossia is the enlargement of the tongue. Second is microglossia and aglossia are rare congenital anomalies representing small sized and absence of tongue respectively. So microglossia means small sized and aglossia means absence of tongue. Third is fissured tongue is a genetically determined condition characterized by numerous small furrows or grooves on the dorsum of the tongue. Fourth is bifid tongue is a rare condition occurring due to failure of the two lateral halves of the tongue to fuse in the midline. Fifth is tongue tie occur when the lingual foramen is quite short or when the foramen is attached near the tongue tip. Sixth is hairy tongue. It is not a true developmental defect, but it is mentioned here because of its similarity with other conditions discussed here. The filiform papillae are hypertrophied and elongated. These hairs for papillae are stained black, brown, or yellowish with yellowish white by food, tobacco, oxidizing agents, or by oral flora. Now, mucocutaneous lesions. First is lichen planus. Characteristically, oral lichen planus appear as interlacing network of whitening or keratosis on the buccal mucosa, but other oral tissues such as gingiva, tongue, and palate may also be involved. Vesicular lesions. A number of vesicular or bullous diseases of the skin have oral lesions. Examples are pemphigus vulgaris, pemphigoid, erythema multiforme, Steve-Johnson syndrome, and epidermolysis bullosa. Common inflammatory diseases of oral cavity. These are some common inflammatory diseases of oral cavity. First, stomatitis, glossitis, syphilitic lesions, tuberculous lesions, and pigmentary lesions. Stomatitis. Inflammation of the mucous membrane of the mouth is called stomatitis. It can occur in the course of several different diseases. First, aphthous ulcer. These are the commonest form of oral ulcerations. The etiology is unknown but may be precipitated by emotional factor, stress, allergy, hormonal imbalance, nutritional deficiencies, gastrointestinal disturbance, and trauma. The condition is characterized by painful oral ulcers 1 centimeter or more in size. Recurrent aphthy may form a part of Behçet syndromes and inflammatory bowel diseases. Herpetic stomatitis is an acute disease occurring in infant and young children. It is the most common manifestation of primary infection with herpes simplex virus. The lesions are in the form of vesicles around the lips. Similar lesions may appear on the genital skin. Necrotizing stomatitis. This occurs more commonly in poorly nourished children, like in kwashiorkor. Infectious diseases such as measles or immunodeficiencies and emotional stress. The lesions are characterized by necrosis of the marginal gingiva and may extend on to oral mucosa, causing cellulitis of the tissue of the cheek. The condition may progress to gangrene of the cheek. Mycotic infections like fungal infections commonly involving the oral mucosa are actinomycosis and candidiasis. Glossitis. Acute glossitis, characterized by swollen papillae, occur in the eruptions of measles and scarlet fever. In chronic glossitis, the tongue is raw and red without swollen papillae and is seen in malnutrition, such as in pellagra, erboflavinosis, and niacin deficiency. In iron deficiency anemia or pernicious anemia, and spur, there is chronic atrophic glossitis characterized by atrophied papillae and smooth raw tongue. Syphilitic lesions. Oral lesions may occur in primary, secondary, tertiary, and congenital syphilis. First is extragenital chancres of primary syphilis occur most commonly on the lips. Secondary syphilis shows maculopapular eruptions and mucus patches in the mouth. Third, in tertiary syphilis, gummas or diffuse fibrosis may be seen on the hard palate and tongue. Oral lesions of congenital syphilis are fissures at the angle of mouth and characteristic peg-shaped notched Hutchinson's incisor. Tuberculosis lesions. Involvement of the mouth in tuberculosis is very rare. The lesions are in the form of ulcer or elevated nodules. Now pigmentary lesions. Oral and labial melanotic pigmentation may be observed in certain systemic and metabolic disorders such as Addison's disease, Albright's syndrome, Peutz-Jeghers syndrome, and hemochromatosis. All type of pigmented nevi as well as malignant melanoma can occur in oral cavity. Exogenous pigmentation such as due to deposition of lead sulfide can also occur. Tumor and tumor-like lesions of oral soft tissue. Benign and malignant tumor as also a number of tumor-like lesions and pre-malignant lesions are encountered in the oral soft tissues. Tumor-like lesions are fibrous growth, pyogenic granuloma, mucocele, ranula, and dermoid cyst. Benign tumors examples are squamous papilloma, hemangioma, lymphangioma, fibroma, fibromatosis gingivae, tumor of minor salivary gland, granular cell myoblastoma, other rare benign tumors. Pre-malignant lesions like hyperkeratotic leukoplakia, dysplastic leukoplakia, and malignant tumors like squamous cell carcinoma or other malignant tumors. Now, oral leukoplakia, also known as white lesions of oral mucosa. Definition: leukoplakia may be clinically defined as a white patch or plaque on the oral mucosa exceeding 5 mm in diameter, which cannot be rubbed off nor can be classified into any other diagnosable diseases. However, from the pathologist point of view, the term leukoplakia is reserved for epithelial thickening, which may range from completely benign to atypical and to premalignant cellular changes. Etiology: it has the strongest association with the use of tobacco in various forms, that is, in heavy smoker, and improves when smoking is discontinued, and in those who chew tobacco containing products, for the example, pan masala, jarda, gutka, etc. The condition is also known by other names such as smoker's keratosis and stomatitis nicotina. Other etiological factors implicated are chronic friction, such as with ill-fitting dentures or jagged teeth, and local irritants like excessive consumption of alcohol and very hot and spicy foods and beverages. Morphological features: grossly, the lesions of leukoplakia may appear white, whitish yellow, or red velvety of more than 5 mm diameter and variable in appearance. They are usually circumscribed, slightly elevated, smooth or wrinkled, speckled or nodular. Squamous cell carcinoma. Now we are going to discuss some common carcinomas of oral mucosa. The most important one is squamous cell epidermoid carcinoma. Squamous cell carcinoma comprise 90% of all oral malignant tumors and 5% of all human malignancies. Oral cancer is a very frequent malignancy in India, Sri Lanka, and some eastern countries, probably related to habit of betel nut chewing. It can occur anywhere in the mouth, but certain sites are more commonly involved. These sites in descending order of frequency are the lips, tongue, anterior floor of mouth, buccal mucosa in the region of alveolar lingual sulcus, and palate. Etiology: number of etiological factors have been implicated for the development of squamous cell carcinoma. First is strong association. Tobacco smoking and tobacco chewing cause leukoplakia is the most important factor as discussed above. Now, chronic alcohol consumption and human papilloma virus are also a strong association for the development of squamous cell carcinoma. Weak association are chronic irritation from ill-fitting denture or jagged teeth, submucosal fibrosis as seen in Indian consuming excess of chilies, poor orthodontal hygiene, poor orodental hygiene, nutritional deficiencies, exposure to sunlight in relation to lip cancer, exposure to radiation, or Palmer-Wilson syndrome characterized by atrophy of the upper alimentary tract. Morphological changes. Grossly squamous cell carcinoma of our oral cavity may have the following types. Ulcerative type is the most frequent type and is characterized by indurated ulcer and firm everted or rolled edges. Papil- Papillary or varicose type is soft and wart-like growth. Nodular type appears as a firm, slow-growing submucosal nodule, or sclerosis type is characterized by infiltration into deep structures. These are the example of these are the diagram that showing ulcerative type, papillary type, nodular type, and sclerosis type. Carcinoma of the lip has a more favorable prognosis due to visible and easily accessible locations and less frequent metastasis to the regional lymph node. However, intraoral squamous carcinomas have poor prognosis because they are detected late and metastasis is to regional lymph nodes occur early, especially in cases of carcinoma of tongue and soft palate. Varicose carcinoma, on the other hand, is composed of very well differentiated squamous epithelium with minimal atypia and hence has a very good prognosis. Other less common malignant neoplasm which may be encountered in the oral cavities are malignant melanoma, lymphoepithelial carcinoma, malignant lymphoma, malignant tumors of minor salivary glands, and various sarcomas like rhabdomyosarcoma, liposarcoma, alveolar soft part sarcoma, Kaposi's sarcoma, and fibrosarcoma. Metastatic tumor can also occur in soft tissue of the mouth. Thank you.